Are you ready for down-to-earth reporting and brutal honesty? The Joe Rossano Show is next. Welcome to the Joe Rossano Show. Hi, I am Joe Rossano. The mission of the Joe Rossano Show is to lay out the issues in a down-to-earth fashion using brutal honesty. So as of right now and forevermore, stop watching the news and strictly get all of your information going forward right here on the Joe Rossano Show. No more mainstream media. And why? Because they all have agendas. Now, before my exclusive interview with Mickey Cella in the Raw and Brutal segment, now the Outset segment. Folks come up to me all the time and suggest topics for the Joe Rossano Show. And one in particular was suggested to me from Rob in Maryland. He suggested I do an episode on the fact that many folks, including him, are considering not voting at all. As he told me, and I quote, "I don't like Hillary, but Donald Trump scares me." Well, Rob in Maryland, you are not alone. Because, Rob, what many folks like you are about to do is either vote for the lesser of two evils, because, quite frankly, many Americans hate them both and are right now debating which one they hate least. Your feelings, sir, are a microcosm of a larger picture of what 40% of the electorate see in this election. Well, Rob, you are in luck. Because you have what some people don't. And that's the Joe Rossano Show, where, brother, you are now about to get the brutal honest facts in a down-to-earth fashion. The bad news is, sir, this is where it's going to get a little boring. So please, put down words with friends and lend me your ears. Rob, may I suggest that you and the many folks who feel exactly the way you do consider this, as this is how I counsel folks who feel the way you do. So listen up and let's let the healing begin. What are the issues that you and I will face when this freak show is over? The issues I am about to lay out are issues that affect all of us, either Democrat or Republican. My brothers and sisters, we are $20 trillion in debt. Household median income is down. We have a major immigration problem. Healthcare costs are spinning out of reach. 43 million of our fellow citizens are on food stamps. We are in a war on terrorism, and just about every single politician that leads our great nation are a bunch of corrupt swine on both sides, Rob. Now, let's get brutally honest here. Secretary Clinton, when it comes to corrupt politicians, is the tip of the spear. Rob, I don't have enough time left on earth to name every corrupt thing she's done, but I will give you my favorite. This email thing is killing me because I put myself and you in her place. Now, if we got a subpoena from Congress and a subsequent FBI investigation into our emails and we bleach 33,000 of them during this investigation, we right now are in jail awaiting trial for destruction of evidence during a federal investigation and obstruction of justice. She is running for president. The founding fathers, Rob, did not, and let me repeat, did not want to see some folks treated differently than others under the law, and this drives me nuts. So, Rob, at the end of the day, and when the chips fall on the table, it is up to you to decide which candidate will reduce the $20 trillion debt, which candidate will raise the median household income, Which candidate will stop illegal immigration? Which candidate will stop the rising cost of health care? Which candidate will get our fellow citizens off food stamps and back into the workforce? And which candidate will stop the terrorists from blowing up your favorite movie theater? When you, Rob, and the folks who feel the way you do come to that conclusion, then ding, 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 there's your answer. So get your butt out there and vote, sir. Joe Rossano Show is going to do an endorsement, and then we'll be back with my exclusive interview with one of the most controversial comedians that has ever walked this earth, from 98 Rock, Baltimore's own Mickey Cucchiella. Don't go away. Looking for a great haircut like mine? Check out Brian Bunt's Barbers in Perry Hall next to Outback Steakhouse, and in Bel Air at the Festival next to Buffalo Wild Wings. Your small town feel with a big town reputation. Brian Bunt's is proud to be recognized as one of the top salons in Baltimore by Baltimore Magazine. You can find them at brianbunts.com. Tell them Joe sent you. Looney's Pub, Maryland's undisputed favorite hangout in Canton, Bel Air, Maple Lawn, and College Park. To find a location near you, check them out on the web at www.looneyspubmd.com. Welcome to the Raw and Brutal segment. Joining me today, arguably one of the most controversial comedians that has ever walked this planet. From 98 Rock, Baltimore's own Mickey Cucchiella.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
Mickey Cucchiella, thanks for this time.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Mickey, I'm going to make a statement,
Okay.
and then I would like to get your take on it.
All right.
Okay? When I'm out in public...
That sucks. No, I'm kidding, man.
When I'm out in public and your name comes up, it is met with nothing short of affection, okay? And I'm talking about the folks in Baltimore love you. You rank right up there with like the Ravens and cream of crab soup.
It's not, maybe cream of crab soup, but not the Ravens. No, listen, I've been very, very fortunate and very lucky all these years that the town has supported me and liked my work and what I do. You know, I'm from here, so I kind of have the voice of the people. I sound like them, for the most part, think like them. And I think they've embraced it. And I've been just so fortunate to have that this entire time that it's still to this day when someone says that to me, the hair on my arm stands up. I mean, it still matters. It's still something that I cherish dearly. And it's something that I hope I go to my grave still having.
Well, again, you know, because for reasons of full disclosure, we know each other personally.
Sure, yeah.
I have never been a hater.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
If a guy's good looking, I'm going to say, you know what? The guy's good looking, God bless him.
Good looking guy right there, right?
Should have seen me in the 80s. I love it.
Yeah.
It brings a smile to me. When I hear you on 98 Rock, when I see you on stage and the folks are just laughing hysterically, I love it.
Thanks, Joe.
I love it. And I was just dying to know what you thought of just, you know, you got to feel the love, I imagine,
Sure.
when you're out there. And
like I said, it is something that it's not a tangible thing. Like, I can't grab it, but when it's there, it's so humbling, really, is what it is. Because, like, the funniest guys I ever met, I grew up with. I'm just like an extension of my neighborhood. Like, I really am. That's all, you know. I mean, I've managed to learn how to write and to perform in an actual professional sense. But I'm really just a guy that grew up off Harford Road, and all those guys that were 4 or 5 years older than me that just made me laugh. My uncles, especially my Uncle Timmy. My Uncle Timmy to this day might be the funniest person I've ever met in my life. And, you know, my dad was hilarious. Like, it was just a bunch of ball-busting guys. And they all had thick skin. They'd all say whatever they felt like saying. There was no filter. There was no politically correct stuff in the neighborhood. Some of it nowadays, people would think you're a scumbag. but it was, you know, I mean, they would. I mean, you know, like the way we grew up, I mean, there was racial tension, there was religious tension,
You bet.
and so language was different.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up through that. You know, I managed to educate myself enough to learn that that's not right, but it doesn't change who I became and why I'll say certain things about certain things, is because I know that it's real. Like, one of the biggest problems I have now with comedy is there aren't a lot of guys out there anymore. I mean, Louis C.K. is a genius, and he'll just go for the jugular every time. You know, Daniel Tosh is a guy that really, I thought his show was kind of weird. I didn't really like the whole web series show thing, but his stand-up is incredible. Anthony Jeselnik, another. These guys will just say anything. But then, like, there's also some where I see what they're doing. Like, it's on purpose. Mm-hmm. Instead of just being natural and, you know, it's a flow. I won't badmouth Amy Schumer. But I'm just saying, like, she drives me crazy. Because to me, that's an act. I like more pure, almost philosophers, male or female. Sarah Silverman's a god, you know. There's a lot of them. I like Maria Bamford as well. But they do things and it sounds real. They mean it. And even if they don't mean it, they make you think they do. And so I think that that's where I've always been from. And that's how the guys in the neighborhood were. They just said it. You know, I'm not kidding you. Can we cuss on this?
I haven't, but hey, I'm going to accommodate you.
Well, I mean, I don't have to. I just
say freaking.
Okay. From the time I was probably 7 years old, everybody in the neighborhood just called me Little F. Come here, you little F.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so that was like, I was exposed to that language and that kind of just insanity from 6 years old, man.
Highlandtown boy.
Yeah, right.
100%.
Yeah, right. So, to me, all that, I think a lot of problems today is we have started to worship children instead of raising them and exposing them to things, and now we hide them and we sit them in front of a TV with an Xbox so we know where they are. I tell my kids all the time, they're like, Dad, I'm bored. Go outside. Like, literally, if you're outside, you can't be bored. There's something to do. Get a stick and put it in the dirt. Like, do something, you know. And I just think I let my kids see R-rated movies, you know. And here's the crazy part. Yeah. And here's the crazy thing. You'll never hear my kids cuss around an adult, ever, because they know it's wrong. Yeah. They learn these are the words you don't say. Instead of learning it in school and coming home and or the parents aren't paying attention or never expose them to it, and the kid says it, and then the parents act like, oh my God, where did he get that? Probably from you, you know, because you're so busy worrying about whatever nonsense latte you needed to get when you drop them off of school. So I just, like, that stuff drives me crazy, you know, with the kids. Like, I got a 12-year-old son. When I was 12 years old, I knew everything.
You bet.
Everything.
You bet. I had two older sisters and an older brother.
Hey, so you knew it all.
And you know,
right.
I had my first sexual experience.
Yeah.
At the age of 8, catching two people in my room.
Really?
You know, doing less. Oh yeah. I mean, that's just, you know, welcome to Highlandtown.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I didn't get that one. I was 24 before I saw it.
Let me ask you this.
I'm just kidding.
The very first time I saw a Mickey Cucchiella stand-up, you said some forbidden terms that...
Nothing's forbidden.
Yeah, well, you know, something that would get most folks fired anywhere else on earth.
Yeah.
Any backlash from... I mean, people see you on the street and say, hey, you know, that was out of line.
The only backlash I've ever gotten for any bit, well, there's two. One included the N-word. I never heard a bad thing from a black person.
Okay.
Black audiences, never. They laughed at the bit, loved it, got it. White people would come up to me You know, you shouldn't say that. That's wrong. And I'll be like, why are you telling me what's right and wrong? It's America. I can say whatever I want. Yeah, but you're going to hurt people's feelings. And I always go, did I hurt your feelings? Well, no. Well, then shut up. You know what I mean? Like, if I didn't hurt your feelings, shut up.
Right.
If I bothered you, say what's on your mind. Then I'll tell you to shut up again. But at least you're coming from the right place. And the other bit was, I don't know if you'll know this or not, a couple years ago, Daniel Tosh told a girl in the audience, what would be funny is if you got raped. He was telling a rape joke.
Yeah, no, I recall that.
Yeah, and the girl flipped out, rape isn't funny, you're an asshole, blah, 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 blah,
right
blah.
Right on.
And he said, you know what would be funny is if you got raped. I'm paraphrasing it. So the next night I was on stage. And I said, you know, in defense of Daniel Tosh and the rape joke, if you're offended by that, clearly you don't know how hard it is to write a rape joke. And that was the joke. Well, of course, girls come up to me afterwards. I was raped, and I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I wasn't making a joke about people getting raped. And that's what's happened in our society now. Is no longer, when we grew up, your intent was everything, your intention. You know what I mean? If you're playing football or soccer and you blast a guy in the nose off your foot, well, your intention wasn't to hurt him. You get over it. You help each other. But if you walk up and punch him in the face, well, now a fight's on.
Sure. Guy spills something on me at a bar.
Right.
If he says, hey, man,
oh my God,
brother,
I'm so sorry.
Let me get you another one.
Right. It's totally different.
That's one thing.
But if a guy walks up and jams it at you.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, then I'm going high on down on it.
Right. And that's how it should be. But for some reason now, everything, nothing has to do with intent. It's all just it. It's all it. It happened. What do you mean it? Well, he spilled a drink on him. Okay? Was it an accident? What does that matter? Well, it matters a lot. You know, if he didn't mean it, that's called an accident, a mistake. And I just feel like in our society now, even like these political, like right now with the election.
That's what I was going to ask you. You know, I am dying to know two things. What does Mickey Cucchiella think of this freak show?
Yeah.
And what vibe do you get from your listeners about the election?
Well, here's the thing. You're right, this is a freak show. And in a lot of ways, when people say this is such an embarrassment, in a sense it is. But in another sense, it's changing the game. And I'm all for changing the game. Because we are so pigeonholed into being told what to think and how things work. I think that Trump has tapped into the frustration and the anti-politically correct world that has been running the show.
1,000,000,000%.
Right. And I think he's basically given the entire country the middle finger. And you know what? We're Americans. We love putting that finger up.
Love it.
And it's who we are. You know, every war that we fought, whether it was the Revolutionary War, the War of 1812, on this land, the two wars we fought on this land, we were backwards, hillbilly, country people. That's the way Britain looked at us. Shouldn't be any problem to go.
Still do.
Right. Shouldn't be any problem to go take this country back, they thought in 1812. And we just put our middle fingers up and said, you know what? You can't have it back. We took it. It's ours now. And I think that's where we're at again. Except we've been hijacked by our own people. And that's what scares me. Like, we need another revolution. Now, do we need to be shooting each other in the streets and stuff like that? No. But you can have a political revolution.
We need a purge.
Yes, it's exactly what we need.
Purge.
But we not only need a purge of these people. See, you keep saying, not you, but people keep saying, oh, we need to get so-and-so out. We need to get Gowdy out. We need to get, you know, Isa out. We need to get all these people. And I'm like, you know, Paul Ryan and these guys. And I'm just like, no. Doesn't matter, because it's just going to be another dickhead that comes in and does the same thing. We need a change of philosophy. We need to rewrite the Declaration of Independence, in a sense, to make sure that this can't happen again. You know, I'm the last guy against corporate America, Because if it wasn't for corporate America, 70% of Americans wouldn't have a job.
Yeah, it'd be broke.
Be broke. Now, the influence that corporate America has over our government is sickening. But it's also necessary. And that's the evil that I don't think people really truly understand. When you really look into it, if you're a giant corporate, you're Walmart, and you're opening 1 billion stores,
Sure.
and you need tax breaks, and you need land grants, and people, the average guy driving to work, right? And he's making, $20 an hour, and he's got 3 kids, and, a wife that she's nagging on him, you don't make enough money, and he listens to the news, and Walmart just got a, $10 million deferment on their land rights. They don't have to pay now for 10 years. That infuriates that guy. And I understand that. I do. What I don't think we do a good enough job of is explaining why we do it. How that does help the corporation, how that does bring jobs, how that does bring the most affordable product and goods to your neighborhood. Nobody ever walks into Walmart and goes, "It's too expensive in here, I'm boycotting it." Right? What they get mad at is, this company's making too much money, selling stuff cheaper than anybody. Tell me the irony in that. They're giving us the best price in the world on any of these items, and we're getting mad that they still figured out how to make money. And then they say, well, they don't pay their employees anything. They pay their employees what their employees are willing to work for.
Sure.
I mean, it's just so simple.
It is a business. It is not a charity.
Right, exactly.
Now, I tell you, Mickey, what drives me nuts, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Well, let me start here. I am trying to change the game for the 7 viewers that I have.
Sure.
Thanks to you, I've got, I
Yeah.
got 30,000
You'll have 8
7
now. Yeah.
Is, I try to do the work that a lot of our peers don't do. I read the Washington Post.
Right, of
I
course.
watch MSNBC.
Me too,
I
man.
watch Fox. I watch CNN. And what I try to do is gather all the information, okay? Take out all of the lies and the BS, and here on the Joe Rossano Show, down to earth.
Yeah.
Nobody going to give it to you down to earth more than a Highlandtown guy.
Yeah.
And brutal honesty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is no, I don't want to get sued by Bill O'Reilly, but there's no spin on my show.
Right.
You're getting the real dirty stuff, and I tell you what drives me nuts is when folks say that wealthy people should pay their fair share. That drives me nuts for this reason. That is your boss.
Yeah.
Okay. You give a tax break to guys or folks that make $4 million. What they do is they advertise more to get more customers. They hire more people. They provide more health care, etc. If you raise taxes on the wealthy, the only thing in most cases, and I regret to say, most businesses are going to do is lay some people off.
Listen.
My taxes went up. I got to let you go.
Here's the deal. Every businessman will tell you it all comes down to percentages. It's percentages. That's how you run business. What do I need my profit percentage to be to support this business? That's it. It's that simple. Once their percentages get out of whack, they got to readjust, like you said. Now, whether that's cutting advertising, cutting employment, cutting healthcare, whatever it is. People also refuse to look at a corporation as a person because somebody started that business and people run it. A corporation is not just something that invents itself and it just runs by itself. Very smart people are in charge of very big corporations.
You bet.
And greed sometimes does play into it. Does a guy need a $30 million bonus at the end of the year on Wall Street? I don't know. But if that's the deal the company made for him, how come people aren't out in the street boycotting a $108 million football contract?
Exactly.
Are you kidding me?
Exactly.
90% of the NFL would be working in a Jiffy Lube.
Instead, 96%
would be working in a Jiffy Lube. And that's no insult to Jiffy Lube, by the way.
Right.
Just saying, common, hard work. Instead, they're multi-millionaires for running, throwing, and catching. Now, a guy that took a company public and made thousands of people millions of dollars gets a $30, $40 million bonus, and people flip out? Are you kidding me? You know how much work goes into taking a company public? Do you know how time it, like, people talk about venture capitalists like they're the worst, most evil people in the world. Business wouldn't get done without them. You need money. And a lot of times banks aren't in the business of going, what do you do? Oh, you started an app? Yeah, here, let me give you 10 million. Banks don't get it. They're starting to try to get into that business now, but they're way behind. And a lot of these venture capital guys saw it early. And they started giving out money, investing in these companies. Yeah, imagine the guy that really put the money up, the real money up for Facebook. You don't even know his name, but believe that there was a venture capitalist.
Oh, absolutely.
I
saw the movie. I don't know what was his name, Manningham or something, wasn't it? Or I don't know, with Peter Thiel or something. Oh yeah, they gave those 12-year-olds a bunch of money.
Right.
Yeah, I know, I got it.
And you know what? They're geniuses.
Sure.
So if that company went public and that day they made $1 billion, why do we deserve any of that? I didn't help them go public. You didn't help them go public. They did it. And now we're going to punish them. Here's my biggest aggravation with the United States right now. The American dream is alive and well until you achieve it. And then they want to punish you for it.
Then they want to knock you down.
As soon as you achieve the American dream, you're a scumbag.
Welcome back. Now to the summary segment. But first and foremost, I'd like to thank our guest, Mickey Cella, for coming on the Joe Rossano Show. Thank you very much, Mickey, and we'll see you out there, sir. Again, to the summary segment. Rob, bottom line is go vote, sir. Go vote. There were a time where we couldn't vote. We weren't allowed to vote. And again, I'm a boring guy, unfortunately. I don't care about whose husband did what. I don't care about who groped who. I'm an issues guy. And that's, again, we are $20 trillion in debt. People are unemployed. Mass immigration issue, etc. Which candidate? I mean, and that's because the reason that I put it that way is because at the end of the day, we're the ones who have to live with this. If Donald Trump loses this election, he's going to go to Ireland to play golf, okay? And Hillary Clinton has hundreds of millions of dollars. She's going to go spend time with her granddaughter, okay? We are the ones that have to deal with this. We're the ones that have to live with this. So that's the choice you have to make. And I hear it all the time, Rob. I don't like Hillary, but I'm scared of Donald. Or I don't like Donald, but I don't like Hillary either. And that's a shame. You know, there was a time in this country where folks voted because they liked Ronald Reagan, because they liked Bill Clinton, because they liked Barack Obama. At least for this election cycle, it's in most cases, for some, like yourself, who do you hate least? Because this election, it's been disgraceful. But on the Joe Rossano Show, we're going down to earth. We're getting brutally honest. So what I say is to think about what matters to you most, your family, your well-being, and then consider which candidate can best serve those interests. And in that case, Rob, I think you're going to be fine because it's going to be one or the other. So once again, thank you for tuning in to the Joe Rossano Show. Brutally honest, down to earth, rants, raves, complaints. Send us an email to joe@joerossano.com. That's joe@joerossano. And I will read and answer your email right here on the air. On Facebook, check us out at facebook.com/Joe Rossano Show. And on Twitter @RealJoeRossano. To see full episodes of the Joe Rossano Show, go to joerossano.com. To advertise on the Joe Rossano Show, because when people advertise here on the Joe Rossano Show, they get rich. So you want to give us a call, 443-313-3901, or email us at advertise@joerossano.com. Thank you for tuning in to the Joe Rossano Show. I'd like to thank our special guest, Mickey Cella, down to earth and brutally honest. For our producers, Carol Brown and Tom Davis, I'm Joe Rossano. God bless you, and we'll see you next time.